Imagine turning $100 into $100,000. These things in crypto are possible. Welcome back to Bearman Crypto, where we talk all things crypto. The crypto market at the moment continues to be absolutely hammered. Everything is down, but one narrative continues, and it is still pumping within that sector, and that sector is, of course, AI. Everything in AI still remains bullish despite the market being in such a downward spiral. We can have a look here just in terms of some of the top AI projects. Over the last 24 hours, some of them are still green and they're actually still up. If you have a look at these top three, so the graph is 13% up over the last 24 hours. Singularity Net 4%, Fetch AI 2%, and you can see the crazy numbers over the last 30 days. The graph up 136%, Singularity Net 365%, Fetch AI 103%. So, you know, 1000x is definitely possible, and I'm going to take you through a specific IDO I'm looking at where I think there is a potential 1000x play. Of course, this is not financial advice. Make sure you do your own further research, of course. Don't just ape into anything I talk about. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm just learning in the space and just showing you as I learn along the way. So the specific project we're looking at today is called AIPAD. So this is basically a launch pad for AI projects. So what a time for something like this to launch. So this is a project that will be working as a launch pad for other AI projects. So this is a great time specifically for something like this to launch, and I think it's going to have a lot of hype around it. Backing this specific launchpad is one of the big players in this space. You can see the symbol here, Bluezilla. So these people are backed by Bluezilla, who are massive in this space. They've launched some major projects that have, brought back insane gains. MetaPad is one of those that did a 1000x when it launched in the last bull cycle. Obviously, one thing to bear in mind is we're not currently in a bull market, so you know MetaPad might have done 1000x in a bull market. This, I'm speculating, it has the potential. It's launching into a narrative that is highly sought after, so therefore the opportunity is there that it could potentially pull another 1000x as well. Who knows? But this is something that I'm definitely paying attention to. So on their Twitter for AIPAD, you can see basically here they haven't got that many followers. They've only got 24,000 followers. But you can see here on their tweet, they basically said that they'll be announcing their IDO dates in the next week. So I would imagine imminently they will be announcing the specific dates. You can see here the specific platforms that will be hosting that IDO. So you've got BSC Pad, Game Zone, MetaPad, ETH Pad. So I'm going to take you through each one and just show you can see how you can potentially take part in these IDOs, and you can see how the price performance for those tokens is currently looking. So we can start off with BSC Pad. And one thing to know, you can see BSC Pad in the current climate, they are still up. That goes to show that there's a level of demand, and as we go through these, you'll start to see the pattern. So you can see over the last hour, 24 hours, 7 days, it's all green. So there's demand. People are buying this specific token potentially for this IDO. Who knows? So in terms of the price at the moment, it's 26.5 cents. In terms of supply, you got 79 million circulating supply out of a total of 176 million. And if we have a look at the specific requirements to qualify for the IDO, so with a lot of these, some of these launch pads, they basically split them out into a lottery or a guaranteed allocation. So I'll be looking at both. So here on BSC Pad, the minimum requirement in order to get just one lottery ticket is staking 1,000 tokens, which is the equivalent at the current price at the moment of about $260. That doesn't necessarily guarantee you an allocation, it just gives you a lottery ticket. Plus, you've got the additional requirements you need to like, comment, and retweet, but it doesn't guarantee you an allocation. To be able to be guaranteed an allocation, this is where you move a bit further down. You need to stake a higher amount here, so the minimum amount to stake is to guarantee yourself an allocation is 10,000 tokens. And at the current price, it's roughly about $2,700. So a bit pricier, but it guarantees you an allocation into the IDO. And you don't have to do that whole business of liking and retweeting. But obviously, it is the minimum pool weight out of the 3 guaranteed allocations, which then have diamond and blue diamond. And of course, they increase in considerable value in terms of how much you need to be holding specifically for those ones. And the next one on the list is Game Zone. So Game Zone is currently 5 cents in terms of circulating supply. You got 413 million out of a max supply of 1 billion. And when we look at this specific token, you can see again all green over the last hour, 24 hours, 7 days, 14 days. It's just all green. So people are potentially accumulating this specific token. And when we look at the requirement to participate in their IDO, so let's have a look again. Similar criteria here. So you've got your lottery tickets. So you need to stake a minimum of 1,000 tokens, which is the equivalent. If you went for the bare minimum, that would be 1,000 tokens, which is the equivalent of $50 at the current price. But obviously, it doesn't guarantee you an allocation. You just entered into the draw for a potential allocation, and the likelihood of that happening, I'm not sure. And also, you don't get access to their first come, first serve, which is obviously the sale after all tokens have been allocated to people that are buying. And then the next level up, which guarantees you an allocation, is you need a minimum of 20,000 tokens staking, which is the equivalent of $1,000. So when you compare that to BSC Pad, this is slightly cheaper in terms of getting a guaranteed allocation. And we can see here you get access to the first come first serve round if there's any tokens still remaining from that. And if we hop over to the next potential launch pad, which will be available for this specific IDO, is ETH Pad. So ETH Pad is the only one which is down so far of the ones that we've looked at, but you can still see it's still positive in terms of the last hour, just down slightly on the last 24 hours and up over the last 7 days. And the current price at the moment for ETH Pad is 1.6 cents. And the requirement, if we take a look at the specific requirement for this IDO, let's have a look here. So in terms of, again, similar style for the lottery, you need to stake a minimum of 5,000 ETH Pad at a minimum, which is the equivalent roughly of about $80. But obviously that doesn't guarantee you an allocation. To be guaranteed an allocation, you need to stake a minimum of 120,000 ETH Pad tokens, which is slightly more expensive than Game Zone. So this is a minimum of $1,920 to be guaranteed an allocation. So at the moment, Game Zone is coming out the cheapest in terms of guaranteeing itself an allocation. And if you've got more money, then you can go for these next levels. You've got the gold and you've got the diamond. And the last one that will be hosting this IDO is MetaPad. So this is the one that I mentioned that I did 1000x in the last bull cycle. So at the moment, this one is valued at, each token is 2.5 cents. In terms of circulating supply, this is 220 million out of a possible total supply of 1.8 billion and max supply of 5 billion. So a lot more tokens in circulation, well, in supply, not circulation. But if we have a look at here in terms of how this price has been performing, look at that. Over the last 30 days, it is up over 1,000%. So there's huge demand for this. Over the last hour, it's up 7.4%. Last 24 hours, 12.6%. So there's definite demand for MetaPad Pad. And if we have a look at the requirements for access to this launch, to this IDO, you can see here with this one, different to the other ones, there's no lottery allocation. This one is just purely all guaranteed allocation, but obviously there's two separate areas. There's ones where you have to do the like or retweet to get a whitelist, or if you're buying the architect, which requires 180,000 tokens, that would obviously guarantee you without having to do the like and retweet business to be able to qualify for the allocation. But obviously all their tiers are guaranteed allocation. So for the minimum requirement on MetaPad Pad, you need to stake 30,000 tokens, and that's the equivalent of $750. But this is just something you should have a look at. And again, Bluezilla is all over this. And I think this could be an opportunity to catch the next big AI project. So obviously, AIPAD will be launching multiple projects AI related. So this narrative is definitely not going away. But one thing to obviously bear in mind is with IDOs, all the tokens that you purchase at the IDO stage will vest over a period of time. Maybe they might release 10% initially at token generation, and then obviously there'll be a schedule of 10%, 10%, 10% after that. And obviously the bulk of the gains are right at the front, up front. So when the token first launches, that's when you get your 1000x. And then obviously over the period of time as the tokens vest, the value goes down. But you never know with these things, particularly with AI being a hot topic at the moment. This could continue. It could sustain some momentum for a little bit of time. But obviously make sure you do your own further research. But this is just what I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you in my next video.